All right, Chaos Head, let's go. I kept telling myself that over and over until it was time for me to go to a net cafe after school, just like I'd planned to do. This dinosaur ass computer, that's what I had in my house in like 2002. The cafe's name was At Cafe, and it was the one place I liked going. It was along Center Street in Shibuya. There were a lot of loser salarymen and DQN 3D girls, delinquent, these delinquent girls and salarymen, the two worst food groups. But you got your personal room, so it didn't matter. Well, if it didn't matter, why do you note it? The room I was in, room 37, was kind of my personal spot. It was the one furthest back in the cafe. It sucked when you wanted to go get some of the free soda, but it was relatively quiet because not many people came by. I would always come here once or twice a week on my way home from school so that I could log into ESO under a different ID. See, that sounds like it would break some terms of service rules, and he very eagerly did that kind of thing. That's what a shitter. Would they view Neidhart as a god among gamers if they knew he was farming? It was my way of relaxing. Neidhart was too well known, you see. I enjoyed being famous, but having to be the hero everyone looked up to all the time was stressful. That's why I like to play with a different avatar sometimes. This character was a girl. Oh my god, he played as a girl? Her name was Lies a Lot. Lies a Lot didn't really have many big accomplishments to her name, but she lies a lot. Whenever I played as her, I made sure other characters got the glory. Oh, that's just how good he is. I worked out some stress by playing for 3 hours, just grinding, never really doing any hard content. Then I talked about dumb stuff and some naughty stuff with the rest of my guild. So you're part of a different guild, or are you... whatever, just a loser. By the time I left the cafe, it was almost 9 p.m. Center Street at this hour was filled with DQNs. Fucking... They would sit on the sidewalk like they owned the place, eating fast food and laughing in their disgusting voices. It made me want to vomit. Oh my god. And if you made eye contact with them, they'd get mad and attack you. They were barbarians. No, they weren't even human. They were worse than that. Worse than human? They were animals. They didn't have a shred of common social decency or intelligence. I wish they would all just die. I meant it too. It wasn't something I was just saying. I think our main character's got some issues that he needs to work through. But that's just I don't know, maybe that's just me being a DQN. But you know, just dealing with them was a waste of time. And I wasn't the kind of guy to waste time. Yeah, just grinding out a separate character in a video game. Yeah, I don't waste time. All of my hours are sensibly spent. So I quickly left Center Street. After leaving Ad Cafe, I would always stop at either the nearby Manga Darake or Manga Darak. I feel like that should be Manga Drake, but whatever. Or the Animeite that was a little further away. Animite? Animate? Manga Drake and Animate? I don't like either. I don't like how either of those are spelled. Today I decided to go to Animite and headed for the station's south entrance. There were far fewer DQNs here. DQNs don't take public transportation. Really, Center Street was pure chaos. Just walking through there made it hard to breathe. If I could have, I would have rather never gone there at all. I wanted to play my video game where there were too many people. I wish life were like my video game where I could just kill all of them. Crazy, man. I wish they'd just tear the whole place down, leaving only At Cafe and Manga Darake. Anyway, it was time to look at some manga and doujinshi. Oh, and Bloodtoon's 5th DVD was probably about to go up for pre-order. Hooray. At some point, I found myself on a narrow street in Marui Macho. This was the route I used on my way back to the base from Animate. I forced myself to blink several times. Then I took a look inside my bag. There were a few textbooks, along with a portable game system. What's it gonna be? Is it gonna be the Nintendo LS, or the would it have been at that time? Yeah, I think it would have, or perhaps the Play System movable. I sighed and started to walk. From here, it was less than 15 minutes to the base. You didn't have to get that far from the station for all the lights and neon to disappear, along with most of the people. At most, you saw middle-aged couples heading for the hotels, or salarymen heading to their homes nearby. It was quiet and calm. Yeah, perfect opportunity for some science adventure to start happening. It was hard to believe that this was the same Shibuya as Center Street, with its hordes of DQNs. It was cloudy tonight, and the moon was hidden. The street seemed even darker than usual. Again? I knew the route well, with its filthy, dark street. What does that say? Das wie Feind und. Das Feind und. I don't know. But today it felt strange, like I'd wandered into another world. Isekai, one might call it. How big of an otaku is this guy? He would have said isekai'd. Fake fan. Everything looked the same as always, but it felt like I was coming here for the first time. And there was this odd smell, like rotting garbage. Rotting garbage, huh? I could feel the humidity clinging to my skin. If I hadn't known better, I would have assumed it had just rained. The air felt sticky. Sticky as icky. Oh. What did I mean again? I felt a sense of jamais vu? Jamais vu? Oh, I'm a pathetic Frenchman. I do not know. I haven't heard that before. Does he mean, what is jamais vu? It is often described as the opposite of deja vu. Okay. That's when you're unfamiliar, Okay, so he's just repeating himself, essentially. Okay, cool. Jamais vu. Damn it. I was getting reality and my delusions mixed up. That was what the psychologists on TV said would happen if you played too many video games. Well, I play too many video games, and I don't mix up reality and my delusions. Not yet, anyway. Wonder if is that coming? Is that something I can look forward to? Either way, it felt like I was coming here for the first time. Yes. You know, I don't want to get on it too much because we're still super early. And the other science adventures and visual novels in general do this a lot. I feel like this is so overworded. Like, him coming to this alleyway and saying, like, I don't recognize it. He's now said it 4 times for slightly different ways. Let's see if we can get a 5th. And that wasn't all. I felt a prickling on the back of my neck, a feeling like somebody was looking down at me, or like you were in a place you hadn't been to before, maybe? I wasn't imagining it. No matter how fast I tried to walk, the gaze kept following me. Oh no, not the gaze. The gay community. Somebody was watching me right now. Their gaze was so powerful. Oh, the gays are getting too strong. Could physically feel it. It was in the air. I wanted to look back, but I decided not to. This was a game I sometimes played with myself. Whenever I heard a small sound or felt like somebody was watching me, I'd play the I'm not turning around that easy game. Oh, brother, you need a better name for that. You couldn't come up with something like, oh, I'm going to play a quick round of Squeeble-Dee-Dee or something? No, if I turned around, I lost. Usually, whenever I felt the gaze, I had delusions about ghosts or monsters with incredibly scary faces. Oh no, fucking creepypasta daydreams? That sucks. Yet throughout all 17 years of my life, see, that is such a bet. Just say, okay, I'd never turned around and actually seen something there. I'd kind of started to enjoy this game since I knew I was probably safe. I'd listen for a moment, then raise an eyebrow in suspicion. Then I'd say a line from a manga. Gear 5. It wasn't that I was too scared to turn around, okay? Hey, you want a piece of me? You want a piece of me? I'll give you a piece of ham. Whose eyes are those? I tried to desperately remind myself that I wasn't scared, but the next thing I knew, I stopped walking. I could feel the tension in the air change slightly. My face was damp with sweat, and my knees were threatening to buckle. They were pointing up like, hey, we're going to start buckling. They weren't buckling. They were about to. I gave in and turned around. Oh my god, the first time he ever loses the game, I lost the game. Oh, fuck. You remember that? You remember the game? You remember the game, everybody? You remember that from 2010? Out, of course, there was nobody there. Not even a passing car. This game came out pre-20... I'm trying to remember. Do I remember the game? Was the game a thing in, like... I was still in high school. I graduated in 2010. This game, I think, is 09? The original Chaos Head was, like, 04 or 5, wasn't it? No, it was, like, 2008. I'm trying to go in my mental Rolodex of when I first remembered somebody mentioning the game. Whether or not this game would have made a reference to it. The ringing in my ears had stopped. I only noticed after the sound stopped. Until that moment, there had been a sound like a ringing in my ears. But I hadn't been aware of it at all. Now I couldn't hear anything. It was suddenly dead silent, far too silent for the middle of a city. It felt like any sound would be crystal clear. I closed my eyes tight to listen. I was going to like turning the radio down so that you can see better when you're driving. I couldn't hear anything. This was weird. This was weird, right? Usually you could hear the sounds of distant trains, car horns, faint noises like that. So why? Were my ears broken? I wanted to scream as loud as I could. I felt like if I didn't, I'd go crazy. But I couldn't. It was so quiet, and it felt like if I broke the silence, something terrible would happen. Yeah, you would... I had a Breaking Benjamin joke ready, but I don't remember. Suddenly, a single sound shattered the silent world. I gotta remember that. I looked ahead and saw many shiny things lying on the dark ground. They were scattered all over the asphalt. Many shiny objects. That's what you collect in SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. You trade them for golden spatulas. That's what you're gonna need. Yeah, you give those to Mr. Krabs. The moment I realized what they were, my legs unfroze and began to move forward. Oh, time to go meet Jesus, buddy. I picked one of them up. It was metal, and its long tip was sharp, like a needle. A stake? A nail? It was strangely shaped, so I'd mistaken it for a cross. I gripped the stake, dazed and confused. I could hear it, a faint sound of some kind, echoing. A cold sound, One that would make your blood turn to ice. It would start, then stop, then start again. My legs kept moving forward. I walked on as if drawn to the source of the sound. Was it just a desire to see something scary? Maybe I wanted somebody to save me, to rescue me by plucking me out of this world of silence. It was like something from an old German fairy tale, so little dark, I guess. Now, it says right there, ripped his face off. No need for translation. Which one was it again? Oh, right. The Pied Piper of Hamelin, where the piper leads over 100 children on a march with the sound of his flute. The sound kept going. It was an awful sound. Like something hitting something else. Sound is often made that way, by something hitting something else. As I walked on, it kept getting closer. Oh boy. It was coming from the back of the narrow alley on the left. Once I rounded the corner, I'd see what it was. So we have Das and Und on that little sign on the right-hand side, and he's talking about German fairy tales. Is this game secretly German? For some reason, I didn't think to turn around. The very idea of turning around never occurred to me. Okay. It was like I wasn't in control of my body. So there it is again. You could see it on the screen. I didn't think to turn around. The idea of turning around never occurred to me. That is the same sentence. That's so annoying. Look, I get it. I'm a writer. I like increasing the word count. This is ridiculous. Like, 2 sentences in a row? Like, come on. Come on. I walked around the corner and saw red. Very red. If my light was more in reach, I would make it red. Can I? No, it won't do anything. Let's see. I'm gonna fuck with my little light. Maybe I can make my light red, too? Will that matter for... I gotta scroll through a whole bunch of shit. That'll be fun. There's red. You know what? I'm kind of curious. How does that look? Yeah. Going back to blue. Oh, hello. I was so busy messing with my lights I didn't see this poor unfortunate soul. So what are we thinking? Are we thinking he's okay? The first thing I thought was that I'd seen something like it before. Also, that it didn't look real at all. I agree. It doesn't look real. It looks like somebody drew it. It was like an animation or like a drawing of some kind. Maybe a few screws broke loose in my mind, and my senses had become numb. In normal conditions, I would have screamed, fallen back on my butt, and peed myself right then and there. It was something that looked like a porcupine. Have you ever seen a 6'2" porcupine? Shit, not even Sonic the Hedgehog's that big. He's also not a porcupine. He's a hedgehog. Whew. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm good at everything I do. It was something that looked like a porcupine, or maybe a pincushion. Countless stakes were nailed to the wall. As I stared at it, I realized that red blood was pouring out from beneath the stakes. The brilliant red I'd seen was a pool of blood. Faint light from the street lamps outside the alley just barely reached in, making the red glisten. There were also all these little glistening again, piles of something. They kind of looked like hunks of meat. Hunks of Meat the wrestler? Who played Meat? Who was Meat the wrestler? Was that Sean Stasiak? Was that Mark Jindrak? Who was Meat? I can never remember. I think it was Stasiak. It was some fucking mid-carter. I tried to swallow, but my throat was parched dry. There wasn't a single drop of saliva in my mouth. Parched dry, one could say. I'd realized the thing nailed to the wall by those stakes, was a human corpse. This was so far removed from my everyday life, so brutal, so overwhelming. And the one who had done it, the one who had pounded all these stakes into raw concrete, was a single young girl. How could I tell? How could you tell? How could you tell? Because she was standing right there in front of the corpse, holding stakes in her blood-stained hand. That is a bit of a giveaway, yeah. Her back was turned, so I couldn't tell what the look on her face was. Oh my god. But the uniform she was wearing, it was Suime's. The awful smell, like raw, rotting garbage, there's rotting garbage again, clung to my nostrils even more firmly. Every few seconds I felt like I was about to throw up. I put my hand over my mouth so that I wouldn't vomit. And then I finally realized where the sense of deja vu I'd been having came from. He didn't say he was having a sense of deja vu. He said he was having a sense of whatever the other one was. Janai view. Genet view. Genet vu. I'm sorry to all of my French ancestors. I am bad. I'm a bad French guy. Very sorry. So where did you get the deja vu? The pictures in Shogun's links. I didn't realize I'd spoken out loud until it was too late. This would prove to be a fatal mistake. Yeah, are you gonna get killed right now? Does she do a creepypasta turn? It was actually Jeff the Killer. I saw the girl's shoulders twitch as she heard my voice. Then she slowly turned around. Hopefully she got a big old smile. Fucking Higurashi style. There it is. Look at that. This is the face she's making. Her gaze pierced me. Her eyes were so flat and empty. She had killed him. And now she's gonna kill me. Oh my god. What's up? You alright? She looked at me with startled, wide eyes. Her expression then shifted to something that combined a smile with tears, and then she's glad. You're glad. You're glad everything is gone. She whispered. Glad? Glad about what? Why would anyone be glad about anything right now? Oh, fucking true words, sir. It didn't make sense. It was so bizarre. I felt a cold chill run down my spine and quickly looked away. It suddenly occurred to me that I didn't want to get involved in anything weird. You in the wrong fucking franchise, buddy. You in the wrong fucking... You're gonna hit the franchise. I couldn't talk to real girls anyway. Oh my god, this fucking guy. Also, she was a murderer. She could have been a 3D DQN. The cops were on their way. I was hungry too. I feel like that's bottom priority right now, bud. Yeah, time to go home. Time to leave. Otherwise, I'd go crazy. Suddenly, she said my name. I hadn't introduced myself. I'd never even seen her before. Buddy, you go to the same fucking school. You're the only dude who shows up 2.5 times a week. You don't think it's reasonable that somebody who goes to your fucking school might know who you are? I hate this dude. You wanted to meet him? Why? Why would you want to meet him? He sucks. Her lips curled upward into a terrible grin, like a demon's. Demons, commonly known for grinning. I screamed, and as I screamed, I ran. I kept yelling until my throat hurt, running as fast as I could. Just once, I looked back. She wasn't following me. And then someone took a picture. I was like, oh, quickly, I gotta go back to my figurines. Have a quick sesh. I was out of breath. I could hear the sound of my own panting. I was sitting in front of my computer monitor. My whole body was soaked with sweat. I was faint with fright. And my clothes were, too. What did I just see? Was that a delusion of mine? I still felt like I was about to throw up, so I went to the fridge, got a soda, and gulped it down. There you go. You feeling a little nauseous? How about some high fructose corn syrup? That ought to calm the nerves. It was a really realistic delusion, if I did say so myself, and I did. But way too gory. 2 out of 10. I was even still out of breath. Even still out of breath, if it was just a delusion. How could I be out of breath? That was impossible. I felt something strange in my right hand. I was holding it so tightly that my fingers had turned white. Until that moment, I hadn't even realized it. Oh, he took a cross home? Hang it up over your door. You'll be protected by Jesus. My heart pounding, I slowly relaxed my grip and opened my palm. Ah! So scary. It was a single steak. Scared, I flung it at the wall. Get a dartboard. It was the steak from the delusion. I remembered picking up one of the ones lying on the ground. But why? Wasn't that a delusion? I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. It's impossible. 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 Oh, I don't like that camera movement. I began to wander around the room, or do one of fucking these, apparently, clutching my head in my hands. I needed to figure out if what I'd just seen was a delusion or reality. But before I could, I slipped on one of the CD cases on the floor and lost my balance. I reached out, trying to grab something so I wouldn't fall. Like, I've never been known for having an immaculate room. But shit. At least the parts where I'm gonna walk tend to stay clear. Clean up, buddy. Move the shit to the side. The only thing in reach was the shelf where all my wives resided. Oh no, he knocked over the waifu shelf? Oh. I thought the fucking game had crashed. I was like, Jesus Christ, I've only pushed a single button this whole time. I was like, what the fuck happened? So he was standing there about to fall for like 15 seconds, like, I'm gonna make it. Flack. Back he went. By the time I realized what happened, it was too late. It couldn't hold my weight, and I ended up falling back onto the floor as figure after figure poured down on me, and all of my wives, and all of my big sisses, and all of my daughters got dirty. Ugh, damn it. This was just awful. Everything was Just awful. I moaned, then started to see if my figures were okay. Dude, he's selling this fucking trip and fall like death. It had broken clean in two. I'd bought that thing in an online auction and had to pay a whole bunch for it. Yeah. I tried to put the sword back together, but even gluing it together wouldn't really fix it. It was worthless. Now, is it though? I mean, if the sword's broken, like, yeah, that sucks, but we all know what you're using these figurines for. And the sword being intact, what is that gonna prevent you from doing? That's bullshit, yeah. I kicked my chair in anger, then I started to cry. Yeah, but it's these barbarian DQNs eating fast food on the sidewalk. Those are the ones you gotta watch out for. Not this fucking guy. Why did this... How could this happen to me? What did I do? My figure is broke. I faded away. I sat down and glumly stared at my now swordless Ignis. And then I got shot. What the fuck? When the anger and confusion passed, he was confused. I turned my mind toward the girl's face and the strange sight I'd seen. Yeah, I witnessed a murder go home, fell into a shelf, broke a figurine. What's prominent in my mind? The figures broke. The fact that I was holding the stake meant that the murder was real and not a delusion. I didn't want to admit it, but I had no choice. By tomorrow, the media would be in an uproar. I wanted nothing to do with it, nothing at all. If I got involved with her, no, it wasn't a her. It was some kind of monster. I'd be done for. My school Nichijou, it would be over. I was already pretty close to screwed anyway. I'd taken a murder weapon home with me. The police might even think I was the killer. And that demon saw my face. Jesus, this guy. There was no escaping this now. Next, she would come after me. I'll lock that fucking storage container, brother. Hope you can subsist off fucking Coca-Cola. I need to think. For my own sake, I needed to think so I could get out of this alive. Mystery girl equals killer demon. Shogun equals mystery girl. Oh yeah? Well, what do you base that on? Those photos were a message predicting the murder. There was no other explanation for how it happened, just like in the photos. First, the girl put together fake photos on the computer, simulating exactly how the murder would happen. This was her way of making the murder. Oh, that's a show on Netflix. No, I bet she'd want to call it a work of art instead of a murder. I could see just like as he's like sitting there with the fucking equations going, or Charlie Day and that meme from It's Always Sunny where he's got the cigarette and he's just got the fucking conspiracy board behind him. She's crazy, I must confess. But why me? She decided to kill somebody because I'm really good at a video game. Fucking incredible deductive reasoning. What was I supposed to do? She'd be coming for me before long. She knew my name and my email, so she probably knew my address too. I pulled my legs up onto the chair and crossed my hands over my knees, then buried my head between them. The murder I'd seen yesterday was sheer madness. Just the thought of it happening to me. Yesterday? Has that much time already passed? Like, man, those fucking figurines falling onto him really fucking knocked him out. I don't want to die. I don't think he wants to die. That's just the impression I get. Oh good, it's Daijobu. Thank goodness for it being Daijobu. I was starting to think things might not be Daijobu. Oh my god. Seda was lying in front of my PC monitor, smiling at me. Is this real or a delusion? Bro. I mean, the cops are gonna come for you, buddy. Sarah, you need to be given some better fucking advice here, girlfriend. Demons take advantage of people, unlike me. Like, this guy, I guarantee you, smells like piss and cheese. Kikomori are the strongest people in the world. Yeah, fucking okay. Yeah, don't you want to be like our boy Taku here? I don't know. That spells tacky. He's pretty tacky, alright. That's why she was my wife, after all. She was really smart. I would love to see your vows. I would love to see your marriage license. I leaned forward and gently grasped Seiratan's thin waist. Thin because she's a doll? Figure. Even when my face got close to hers, Seiratan didn't seem upset. She just kept smiling, yeah. But inside, she's like, oh my fucking god, this fucking loser, please put me down. Would you mind putting me down? Yeah, 3D world can eat shit. Yeah, 3D's a weak finish. Oh, dude, what a fucking outlook. Don't let your guard down, but just don't think about it. Don't believe in anybody. Don't listen to anything anyone says. Beware of anything 3D. That was all I had to do and I'd be safe. Well, she's a figurine. Isn't she 3D? In her figurine form? Checkmate, dipshit. Go back to grinding. Oi. What a fucking loser. Flying Cross. She's singing a song. Ma'am, we already had the OP play. No more songs. Send a musical. A clear voice echoed across Miyashita Park in the depths of the night. On top of the pedestrian bridge over Meiji Street, as the cars came and went below, the girl they called Fez is like foreign exchange student? Is this is Wilmer Valderrama from that 70s show? She is hanging out down the street. And this is the same old thing I did last week. Wow. Leaned up against the bridge rail, seemingly oblivious to the noise below. Followers guided by the light of the moon. She had no audience. If she'd done a real street performance, she probably would have had at least 100 people stopping to listen. But for now, Fez had chosen instead to hide herself behind the veil of night by hiding directly under a streetlight. Cloaked in shadow she is, you could say. A path of illusions that leads to this place. All she had to do was stand here in the silence, as evidenced by the fact that she is singing, quite silent. Then she could be one with the darkness, and for a moment, at least, freed from the filthy air of Shibuya. That's how it seemed to her, anyway. The shouts soon turned to silence. Suddenly, she looked up at the night sky. The clouds that had covered it were slowly parting, and a faint ray of moonlight trickled through. But the bright, dazzling lights of Shibuya were hiding the hesitant twinkling of the stars. Feeling peace as you fall, two hands clasping in the wind. Fez closed her mouth and reached up toward the sky. Fucking anime style where they go like that. I should have been careful doing that because it totally could have put this out of focus. Whose eyes are those? Fuck, I don't know. I spent the entirety of the next 24 hours in base lard. I didn't even quit to eat. I dedicated myself fully to erasing Takumi Nishijo and being Nightheart. In ESO, I was a god. I didn't need to be scared of any demons. Everybody respected me. I always thought how nice it would be if I could spend forever in this wonderful world. This Kono Subarashi, one might say. Ooh, look at that tween. Look at him go. He bouncing. He just vibing. Night Heartbeat. Yeah. Fweh. I need to use this right now. Let me open up my equipped screen. Oh. Eto? Yeah, they're just jealous losers. You got that halo, halo, halo. I'd finally gotten one of the ultra rare drops I wanted, and was incredibly excited. All the depression I'd been feeling had just blown away. You almost forget that you saw a dead body when you get a fucking rare drop in a video game. Oh, 0.0001%. This dude should play gacha games. He'd fucking shit himself. It was completely useless and just changed the way your character look. Sounds like a very, very good thing to try for. But this also meant that everyone could see that you had an angel halo, and they would all be really jealous. Shut up, who's that pounding on my door? I'm enjoying my new rare item. Don't interrupt me. Gosh. Oh, a Baka Oni. Oh, great. Love that. Can't wait. Baka Oni-san, let's go. The minute I heard it, my good mood vanished. It was an assassin sent by my parents. My little sister, Nanami. This was going to be a pain in the butt. I mean, buddy, you're clearly a disturbed fucking freak. You're fine with your little sister coming over. We know. We know your type. Damn it. A storm was about to roll in. I didn't want to open the door at all, but if I kept it shut, my parents would be the next ones to come. They'd tell me to stop living by myself and come home. Yeah. My dad was pretty much the owner of this building. If he wanted to kick me out, he could. This just wasn't fair. Yeah, you got it real tough, bud. Shut up. Don't yell so loud. She was still banging on the outside of the door. The walls of a shipping container are a single piece of metal, so any sound echoes really loudly. She knew that and was doing it anyway. Yet she's the problem. I unlocked the padlock on the inside and opened the doors outward. I had no other choice. Why are you looking at her feet? Hello, small child. You should leave. This tiny shrimp of a girl was my little sister. She was 1 year younger than me. You thought or wished. Every time I saw her, she was complaining about something. Unlike me, going out on the street calling everybody barbarian DQNs. As you could tell from the way she was standing with her hands on her hips. Look at that. Look at her with her hands on her hips, as you could see. And pouting, as she is doing here. She was a little brat. And if you asked me, she was nothing more than a huge nuisance. Nanami walked right into my room without even bothering to ask if it was okay. She thought she could just do whatever she wanted, just because she was my little sister. To those of you out there who think little sisters are moe, I have a message for you. Face reality. The fucking audacity of this guy. Well, I guess she was... Oh boy. I guess she was kind of cute. If you were a Loli fan, she might totally be your type. To say that about your own sister is... But as her real brother, I didn't feel that way about her. Thank God, if you have one redeeming quality. At all. If anything, she seemed like a little baby to me. Oh, but... yeah. He kills it. But don't worry. I'm still fucking disgusting. They just gotta be too deep. Fuck this fucking guy. I hate this dude. I can't wait till they drive a whole bunch of metal stakes into his face. No, any self-respecting woman wouldn't be caught within 10 fucking feet of this fool. Drag him. No! You don't have to clean for him. I will die in filth. Lost cause, kid. Just give up on him. Well, you're not showing your older brother any respect, are you? And nobody asked you to see if I was alive anyway. You can just let me rot. Find out that I'm dead later on the news. As it should. As it should. This guy sucks. I don't blame you. Oh, you don't want to drink none of the stuff he's got stocked. I hope you want cup ramen and Coca-Cola, because that's all he's got. Oh, there's nothing here but soda. You should keep some milk tea. Yeah, no. Girl, where am I going to put milk tea? As usual, she seemed to have no intention of asking for her brother's permission. She grabbed a bottle of soda, one that I'd already drank from. She hesitated for a moment before swallowing it down. Ugh, tastes like backwash. Disgusting. Yeah, she's the gross one. She put her lips right on it. How could a girl be so filthy? This was the problem with 3D women. They get dirty. You know what the real problem with real girls is they poop and fart. As soon as she left, I should throw that bottle out. Waste not. Hey, wait. She gonna be burping crazy style. I bought that soda with my own money. Being my little sister didn't give her the right to... Oh, is she really gonna start burping? Or is she gonna have some hiccups? Nanami stared at the now empty bottle in shock. She must have finally figured out how rude she was being. She gonna get fat again. Huh? Fucking emoji face in text. Yeah. What was she talking about? That tracks. I couldn't help myself. It was there. I mean, that's why I drink all of the terrible shit that I drink. Is like, why do I drink so much coffee? It's there. Because mom spoils you. It's got way more than just calories in it, sis. Yes, milk tea. Yeah. Milk tea is basically the same calories as soda. And anyway, you don't get to tell me what to eat. Especially after you drank all my soda. Did you come all the way just to tell me that? You confirmed that I was still alive. You should be done now, right? Why do you have to come into my room all the time? He is mean. I don't know why you would want to talk to him. Seems like a mean loser. Nanami seemed annoyed at my words. She was glaring at me with a frown. I didn't want to deal with it, so I just looked away. I wouldn't be. Do you want this guy talking to people? I wouldn't want this guy walking around talking to people. Especially girls. Keep him away. I mean, keep him away from humanity, but especially keep him away from women. Shut up. Don't make fun of me. I'm not interested in 3D girls. I don't need to talk to him. Imagine... Yeah, and you should be disgusted by that. You do not learn any sort of relationship conversation by talking to family members. As she spoke, she picked up one of my figures. Hikaru-tan, from suicide toward the light. She stared at it. Hey, don't touch one of my wives. If you get a fingerprint on it, I'm seriously gonna kick your butt. Oh, she called them dolls. Oh dear. Get ready to be read the riot act. What was my little sister trying to say? She was starting to sound like mom lately. And what I meant by that was, she was annoying. Oni no baka. He does seem like a bit of a baka. Ugh, she was starting to get hysterical. If I made her any madder, she might go berserk. I had to stay calm. Look at her. Clearly she's deranged. Let's go buy a cell. Let's go do what? What's she talking about? I don't want to text none of you. I don't want you texting me. I don't want you using up my fucking minutes. Shut up, trend follower. The cell phone. It'll never catch on. I know a lot more about what's popular than you do. I've got the internet, you know. Okay, maybe most kids my age had a phone, but I didn't. There was no reason why I would want one. I had nobody to call or text, and I didn't want to spend money on something I wasn't going to use. Nanami put the figure back on the shelf and peered up at me. That's probably a good idea. She took her phone out of her bag and waved it in my face. Although with this, the era of, cellular phones that would have been out in the time this game was released, I'm very excited to see what this cell phone is going to look like. Flip style, let's go. With a fun little frog. You don't want to give this guy a strap. I'm not putting the strap on this guy. Ooh-wah. Ooh-wow. He's about to hit the spear. Look out, little girl. He's gonna crumple you like Braun Breaker crumpled Aisho Speed. Hanging from the strap was a small figurine of a character that was, well, whatever it was, it certainly wasn't cute. How would he know? It's a fucking smiling frog with funny long limbs. Of course it's cute. Ugh. It looked like something created by a rookie designer with no talent. Ugh. Where does he get the balls? It wasn't cute, or even creepy cute. It was just creepy. It's a smiling frog. Gero, 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 iza sasume. Cute, niaku seo. Que gero, gero, kasamote. Tekakita ni wa itsumu hare. And that's about all I remember from Sergeant Frog. If you liked cute things, you could talk to girls. Quiet, girl. What the hell kind of name is Gero Froggy? There's no way that this thing was popular. What do you base that on? You don't even have a fucking phone. The poor girl didn't realize she was being manipulated by the media. Oh, relevance. That's never been my experience. We need this discount. You getting the same damn phone. Seriously, you getting like an expensive device for free and you say no? I hate this dude. It would just be a nuisance. If I had a phone, Mom would probably call every day. So that's why you set boundaries, buddy. And if I didn't pick up, she'd send her pet assassin Nanami here to check on me. In other words, it would just be a nuisance. One that would make my life a lot harder. I didn't want that at all. This guy is such a fucking dipshit. I hate him so much. Yeah, go home. I wouldn't want to deal with this fucking guy. Go home. Kick him in his fucking nards on your way out. Solid crack right to the onions. I opened the door for her to go, but she didn't move. She just glared at me, shoulders heaving with rage. I'd never walked her to the station all the time she'd come before. Why would I start now? Well, maybe you're of the belief there's a murderer on the loose. Yeah, see, she's like, there's murders happening. You can let me walk by myself. And he like, yeah, you came here wanting me to buy a cell phone. Fuck you, die. That's crazy. For a moment, what happened yesterday felt like it was going to come flooding back to me. I shook my head desperately, trying to drive the thought out of my mind. What a douche. Fuck this guy. Whoever the new gen killer was, they weren't going to be interested in a little kid like Nanami. She's just too much of a brat for anybody to want to murder. She was crying. I must have really made her sad. It felt great. That's what you get for disrupting my peaceful life. This would be my little way of getting revenge. That's what you get. You came to my fucking shipping container room when I didn't want you here. I hope you die. Yeah, I'm with you. She knocked me aside and ran out the door, and he's gonna be like, what's her problem? Phew. At least the storm was over. The room was quiet now that she was gone. It was much nicer. The base was my home. Nothing was allowed to happen here unless I wanted it to. Well, I mean, your dad owns the property it's on, so... You don't have as much power as you think you do, brother. I sat down at the computer and moved the mouse a little to wake it up from my Seiratan screensaver. Then I took a big swig from the soda bottle on the table, but it was empty. Oh no. Is he going to say something weird about how she drank it first? Ugh. Oh no. Yep, there it is. I just had an indirect kiss. You're a fucking loser, dude. If Nanami was a little sweeter, it might have been great. Like something out of an H game. But with her personality, it just made me feel sick. Yeah, it's her personality that's the problem. I closed the cap on the bottle and threw it into the big garbage bag in the corner of the room where nothing else went. The rest of the trash goes on the floor. It missed and bounced off the wall, rolling under the bed, but whatever. Now then, time to get back to ESO. Time to forget all the annoying stuff that happened in the real world, like murder and dealing with family. Oy. But sadly, I was forced to bring my time in base lard to an end after just a single day. When I left the base early in the morning, my mental state was back in the dumps, and any improvement that I'd felt from my time in the game was gone. Why did I have to go to school? I'd rather stay home and bake cookies with you. I wish that this were the day after today. I couldn't stay home. If I stayed home, it would ruin my whole attendance schedule. Then I wouldn't be able to graduate. Yeah, really want this guy out in the world. Yeah, who needs it? It was my idea, but still, I couldn't help but complain. When I got to the luxury residences at Shoto, I suddenly realized I'd been feeling someone looking at me the whole time. Was it a murderer? But it wasn't God's gaze. There wasn't that weird feeling on my neck. Oh, she done zipped out of there. As I turned the corner, I took a quick look behind me without turning around and caught the glimpse of a girl in a suime uniform. Was it the demon from 2 days ago? By the time I learned the demon's endeavor, there was nothing I could do. Suddenly, my heart started to pound. I was so nervous that I started to walk funny. They were going to admit me into the Ministry of Silly Walks. I started to feel like I no longer belonged in the quiet morning around me. I could hear the sound of birds chirping on the power lines and the faint sound of the morning news from televisions inside the houses around me. This didn't feel like a place where any kind of murder could happen. And yet, I felt like I was about to have delusions of myself being brutally killed. Let's see him, because that doesn't sound like it'd be too bad. No, I needed to calm down. I hadn't gotten a clear look at their face, had I? And if they were a Suime student, it was only natural that they'd be following me. They were heading to school, just like me. Okay. I had an idea. Oh, good. Oh, boy. Instead of following the path that led straight towards school, I made a right instead. I fought down the urge to turn around and tried to act as naturally as possible. I kept walking, trying to contain my nervousness, even though I was walking silly. And after a minute, I quietly turned around. She hid crazy style. She went... It's like the wall, like she got pulled into the wall. Our eyes almost met, and I quickly turned my head forward again. Why was she following me? This wasn't the way to school. Was she actually tailing me? It was a face I didn't recognize. The one thing I could tell for sure, though, was that it wasn't the demon from the other day. This girl had glasses. Just knowing that alone made me feel more relieved. People with glasses never commit crimes. I'd have to cancel my usual morning breakfast, but I didn't have a choice. To me, you're just pedestrian number 1 or girl A. No more important than that, so go away. See, I'm having a difficult time buying that this guy is just antisocial when the only ones he treats shitty are women. Girl A stopped tailing me and disappeared when I got to the school entrance. She seemed to have somewhere else to go, since she headed for the third-year student classrooms. Maybe I was just imagining her tailing me, but it didn't make sense that she'd follow me down a route that led away from the school, unless, of course, she noticed your uniform and is a transfer student, you fucking worm. Was she just trying to upset me? Had I done something to make her mad? No, I hadn't. There was no way I could. I'm such a model citizen. At this school, I was as invisible as the air. So what was she after? Your fucking cock. Who cares, dude? What do you mean? I somehow made it through an awful day at school, and as always stopped at Cafe on my way home. Of course, I sat in room 37. The red room, if you will. Usually, the rooms around me were empty, but surprisingly enough, there was somebody in room 36 today. The door to the room was closed. I could see the desk light was turned on inside. I sighed a little as I went into my own room. Having someone next door made it hard to chat. I was the kind of person who always said things out loud when he chatted. Almost like I was a protagonist in a visual novel who spoke sometimes. Well, whatever. Time to just log into ESO. I just have to be careful not to say anything. Oh. Failed. I slammed my palm down on the keyboard, annoyed. I'd been playing for about 2 hours now. Today was just a stressful day. The pair I'd grouped with were clearly new players. Ugh. As always, I stayed in the background, trying to let them have the glory for themselves. But one would always run in ahead of us and die, and then do it again. The other, a mage, refused to use magic to help us. So what is he doing? Is he just AFK? I mean, he's just swinging a stick. Our party must have died a dozen times. I just didn't feel like leaving the party and doing anything else. And then on top of that, all they did was complain and chat. Freaking idiots. I got so mad, I PK'd them, took all their items, and then quickly escaped to another area. I thought he said he never did peek. I thought he said he never PK'd. He said that in episode 1. I think he was a liar. Oh, Nightheart. Yeah, there it is. Nightheart couldn't PK, but Lies a Lot could. That was why I came all the way to @cafe to log in. Felt a little better, so I decided to take a break and go get something to drink. @cafe had free drinks and a well-stocked soda fountain near the counter. The one problem with room 37 is that it was pretty far from the bar. When I left the room, I could see that the door to room 36 was open. I had to go by it if I was going to get to the soda fountain. I took a quick peek inside, and as I walked by, and nobody was there. Actually, I realized I'd heard the sound of somebody getting up a moment ago. And oh look, she's got them little frog keychains. But there was a bag sitting next to the chair in the room. It was a student's bag. Decorative straps hung from it, stuffed animals dangling at their ends. They were Garo Froggy, the thing Nanami had showed me yesterday. 3 of them, too. Maybe it really was popular. Not that I cared. If I kept staring at it and they came back, they might think I was a stalker or a thief, and I wouldn't want anybody thinking anything untoward about me. I'm such a good guy. I decided to forget about it and go get my soda. But when I saw what was showing on their monitor, my eyes went wide. Nothing. Nothing's on the monitor. It's a black screen. The monitor was displaying words, New Gen Aggregator Site. Excuse me. Oh, shit. Oh, sorry. Game's keeping me awake. It was in a really nasty-looking, attention-grabbing font, too. Chiller. or Comic Sans. I'd been deliberately avoiding looking up anything about it. I didn't want to know the details. That was how I was telling myself that it had nothing to do with me, as my microphone almost nosedives into my lap. Anyway, was there a reason the person just happened to be in the room next to me at the Net Cafe was looking at a New Gen Aggregator site? For a moment, I saw the demon girl's face again, and my whole body shivered. I shook my head to drive away the negative thoughts. I was overthinking it. Yeah. I was just being paranoid. I think I'm paranoid. Manipulated. New Gen was the media's favorite subject right now, and not a day went by when the TV talk shows weren't discussing it. Everybody was interested in it. That was the only reason. Yeah, it had to be. It was the talk of the town. Time to forget about it and go get my soda. I put my cup under the dispenser and pushed the button for soda. Ice cold soda. Ah, yes. Flavorless, brandless soda. Right into the cup. Brown swill. The sun was setting, and it was starting to get crowded. I could see a small line of people waiting at the register. As it got later, more and more people were going to come. In an hour or so, all the rooms around room 37 would be full. That would probably be my cue to go home. I took my cup and went back to my seat. As I walked back, I took a quick glance down the corridor that led to the restrooms. So sneaky. The toilet's that way. I saw a girl with glasses in a Suime uniform, disappearing down the end of the hall. It was Girl A, the one who'd been following me this morning. I thought I must have been mistaken, so I hid behind a bookshelf and watched the corridor for a while, but I never saw her again. I must have been imagining it, right? Yeah, I'd only seen her for a second. And there were probably a ton of Suime girls who used this cafe, a lot of whom probably wore glasses. This is the most intelligible thing he has said to this point. But what if it was Girl A? What was she doing here? Was it just a coincidence? Or had she followed me? I started to feel scared. I left the cafe and hurried back to the base. I'd gotten too scared to stay. I wanted to go home as fast as possible, but the streets were crowded with people, and I couldn't move forward as fast as I wanted. I get the feeling he doesn't move fast anyway. I was starting to feel sick. I hated crowds. It felt like everyone was laughing at me. Yeah, why would they? The crosswalk turned red, so I had to stop. I took a quick look around. There was no sign of Girl A. As I headed up Doganzaka Hill, walking got a lot easier. Usually, I chose to take the back streets, where there weren't as many people. But after what happened 2 days ago, I decided to take the main streets instead. Yeah, nothing ever happens on main streets. Only alleyways. I came to another red light and looked around again, but there was no sign of Girl A. Maybe the person I'd seen at Cafe was someone else after all. I relaxed a little, relieved, and turned around. Gotcha. I took a step back in shock. There, on the other side of the crosswalk, standing with the other pedestrians waiting to cross, was the girl. And her eyes, behind her glasses, were locked dead onto me. How can you tell? The light, it's doing the anime glasses thing. She's just looking at a white sheet. Her eyes were intense, as if she was trying to send some kind of message. You are creepy. I mean, she appears to be smiling, so she's having a good time. I couldn't take my eyes off her. It was like I was paralyzed. Suddenly, her lips moved. She was trying to say something. But the noise from the crowd was so loud, I couldn't hear it. I was also on another side of a street. In a big city. I strained my eyes to see what she was saying. Who? I are those. Whoa. That's the scary saying. My hair stood on end. Impossible. Hair doesn't stand. I was imagining things. I didn't know how to read lips. I read her lips. I don't know how to read lips. Wait a minute. I don't know how to do this. It's like fucking SpongeBob levels. It's like, oh yeah, we don't have any kids. Who are these people? I shook my head and forced myself to look away. It was clear that she'd said something, at least. No matter what it was, doing that to a guy she'd never met was creepy as hell. I needed to stay away from her. I needed to run. I needed to run while I could. Run. I forced my timid brain into action and ran as fast as I could. I ran in the opposite direction from her and down a side street I saw. I collided with something and fell to the ground, hard, hitting my shoulder. Itatata, as they would say. I gasped in agony as pain raced through my whole body. I couldn't tell what had happened. It was all I could do to sit up. He hit a scooter, but it looked like he hit a fucking car. Jesus. When I looked, I saw there was a large scooter in the middle of the street that I'd knocked over. I must have collided with it. Fair bet. I gritted my teeth and tried to force myself to stand up, but I couldn't feel any strength in my legs. Can you feel strength? Is that how that works? I didn't think anything was broken, but... Uh-oh. It's a girl. He's not going to be able to handle this well at all. She says Daijobu. She's asking him if he's Daijobu. Girl A was there. She must have caught up to me at some point. She was looking down on me, worried. She looks like she's trying to like wipe smudge off of something. Like, you get a little sputz, right? Get that out of there. What the hell was going on? Who was this woman? My body wouldn't move. I was too scared. And I couldn't feel the strength in my legs. I don't know what to do. It was too late now, but I regretted not taking the train to Shinsen. We can only hope that he is. Her voice was timid and hesitant. Was she trying to act worried to get me to let my guard down? You're not going to fool me. I won't let any 3D girls fool me. Yuck, this fucking guy. Such a loser, man. That is the look of somebody like, oh, it was a mistake to even fucking talk to this guy. It sounds like he's on the verge of tears. What a dork. I yelled at her. I still couldn't stand up, so I crawled away. Amazing. If I didn't put some distance between us, I was afraid she might pull a knife on me. Dude, she's probably got more reason to fear that from you. That terrible sight came back to me again and again, and I kept feeling like it was going to happen to me, too. Now she looks disappointed. She's like, that's the face of regret. Like, fuck. If only. Too bad running him over didn't kill him. She seemed hurt. It was a mistake on your part, madam. That was her mistake. She's like, I should be nice. And yeah, that's the face of somebody who's like, being nice is overrated. Never doing it again. You don't have anything to talk to me about? What does that mean? You don't want to talk to me? She was stammering. It was really suspicious. Again, unlike me, who stammers all the fucking time. Yua Kusunoki. Oh no, he knows her name now. I hadn't asked, but she introduced herself anyway. Why would you be curious about him? He sucks. What's that? So you started stalking me? The girl, Yua, was staring at the ground as she talked. Pictured here. Oh. She vanished. She bowed. Apparently. Oh, how low did she bow? Oh, there she is. Impossible. That was my honest reaction. Now that I get a clear look at her, this Yua girl was pretty cute. I'll admit that. But that doesn't mean I could believe it. A 3D girl interested in me? Yuck. What kind of H-game scenario was that? Girls being interested in men only happens in hentai games. What a fucking... Ooh, I hate this dude. That never happened in my entire life. It sounded to me like an obvious lie. Did she think this would make me happy? Especially when she'd been acting like a stalker a moment ago? Maybe if she was 2D it might work, but a 3D girl like that was just a weirdo. Scary. I only like the girls who act like they were written by men. I felt really embarrassed just being here, too. I wanted to get out of here as soon as possible. 3D girls are just the worst. Even talking to one made you nervous. It makes you nervous, Taku. I tried to say something harsh, but hesitated. Oh no, it's not a video game. I'm not a god here. But I knew if I didn't say it, she'd keep stalking me. I didn't want that. She looked sad. Did she really feel bad about it? Maybe. No, I couldn't let her fool me. I couldn't believe in any 3D person. I only believed in 2D. Nothing else. I could trust Seda-tan a lot more than I could trust her. I'd have given up. I'd have been like, sick. This guy fucking sucks. Get him out of my mental Rolodex forever. I forced myself to stand up as I stammered out the words. My whole body still hurt, especially my shoulder. I could barely move it, and every so often I'd feel a dull ache from it. So did he run into a parked scooter? Or was like somebody driving it and like failed to take him out, and now they have vanished? The pain was making me a little dizzy. I might have hit my head a little when I landed. I staggered for a moment, and Yua quickly grabbed my hand. Girl, why? Like, get away from him. He's clearly a problem. Like, somebody who earnestly talks about 2D and 3D women, you should just assume he will bite your face off. My mind was going blank. I almost never had a chance to touch a girl who wasn't a family member. I could feel my heartbeat quickening. My heartbeat was Highlander 2, the quickening. No, he got hurt because he's a dipshit. Oh my god. I appreciated her offer. Yeah, fucking the lies you tell. I wasn't used to having anybody be nice to me, and I felt like I might actually fall in love with this 3D girl I hated a moment ago. Is that like a genuine, like, I can't imagine that anybody feels like this fucking clown, but, like, do you ever meet people within seconds of meeting them being like, what would it be like if I fell in love with you? Maybe I've fallen in love with you within seconds. I don't know, I guess maybe love at first sight had to come from somewhere. But that didn't mean I had the courage to look straight at her. And anyway, she was a stalker. And she might have something to do with that demon girl, too. And I didn't want to die. Yeah, I saw her going into the exclusion zone. She was coming back with all kinds of shit. They thought it was a roadside picnic. So many different thoughts were racing through my head that I didn't know what I felt anymore. I live in a shipping container on a roof. I nodded and then realized what I'd done. Oh no! I've doxed myself! Fucking idiot. Why the hell did I tell her that? What was I expecting to happen? This was just a delusion anyway. There's no such thing as real women. They're not. They don't exist. Or even if it wasn't, I would only be happy for a while before it all got ruined at the last second. That's how it always worked out in anime, right? I could feel the death flags popping up by the second. Maybe that's a good clue to save the game. Oh, you know. You can never be too safe. Crap. Now she was up against me, trying to help me walk. I could feel her soft body up against mine. Her hair smelled good. She smelled good. She didn't smell like she lived in a fucking stale shipping container. She must be fucking... Her eyes must be watering up against this fucking guy. Impossible. No 3D girl would ever be this nice to me. Yeah, because you never give him a reason to. Fucking crazy. This dude sucks. Not very well. Not with an analog stick. I nodded again. Yeah, ganbatte. Let's fucking go. She sounded nervous, and she was watching my feet as we slowly walked. She was one of them foot ones. At this point, I didn't feel like I could refuse or shake her off. Helplessly, I let her tiny body support me as we went. Dude, she's the same fucking height as you. What do you mean? At this point, I already said that. Okay. Neither I nor Yua said a word until we got to the building where the base was at. There was no way I could have a real conversation with a girl. Even if I talked about anime or games or figures, a 3D girl would never try to understand. She'd just tell me I was creepy. Yeah, man, I say all this creepy shit to her, and she's like, yo, you're creepy. Oh, what's up? Thanks for coming along. And from that perspective, there was no point in talking to worthless girls like that. Oh, I hate this dude. You've gone far enough, I whispered, and then watched to see how she reacted. She nodded slightly, and then let go of me. Fine, take these stairs yourself, fucking asshole. I still staggered a little. I ignored her and headed for the building's lobby. I say lobby, but it was really just a narrow hallway leading to some elevators. There was a small staircase, and when I tried to go up it, I felt an incredible pain that almost knocked me over. It's not Daijobu. He's not Daijobu. She ran over and grabbed me. Damn it, was she still here? Take a hint. Fuck off. For some reason, she seemed really desperate. Yeah, because she's going to pull out a knife and gut you like a fish. And she should, and she'd be right to do it. To be honest, she'd been a big help in getting me this far. My base was on the roof, and to get there, you had to take the elevator to the 8th floor, and then go up a steep staircase. I couldn't have done it on my own. Yua didn't look that strong, but she'd done everything she could to help me get up. She'd been supporting me for so long, she was out of breath. A real sense of regret coming over her. His washing machine and all that shit is just like outside, like up for the elements. That's crazy. She looked at the shipping container in shock. I guess to most people, living in a shipping container was really weird. Wait till she gets a fucking glance at the inside. I've always wanted to live in a shipping container. This guy ain't an outlaw. I certainly wasn't expecting her to say that. Was she trying to suck up to me? You can't fool me. I'm not letting 3D girls fool me. With her help, I unlocked the padlock and went inside. Slammed the door right in her fucking face. Phew, I was finally home. What another awful day. I resolved again to never leave my room if I could help it. She'd come right inside my room without bothering to ask. Well, I guess it was because she'd been helping me walk this whole time. But still, I didn't really want her seeing the inside of my room because it's a fucking shit heap. There was a whole shelf of figures and H-game boxes on the bed and garbage all over the floor. I live in squalor. my fucking squalid masturbatorium. I didn't want her coming and seeing it. I waited for her to remove her hand, but she didn't. Let's get you to the sofa. Yeah. I'll go with you. In the end, I did as she told me. There were CDs and magazines all over the sofa, but she cleared a spot. Oh, I wouldn't want to touch that shit. That fucking sofa must be crusty. She was really kind and considerate. Wait, I wasn't going to let her fool me. Not a chance. It was just me and her inside the room. The door was still open and a little bit of moonlight was coming in through it, but the room was mostly pitch black. It was too dark to read the expression on her face, but the fact that I couldn't see her made the sound of Yua's breathing seem almost seductive somehow. I realized that this was the first time I'd let a girl besides my sister into the room, and she was also someone I barely even knew. If this was a game, it would mean she was totally into me. Maybe there'd be a situation where things would keep going, and I'd end up kissing her. Ooh, scandal. But that wasn't what I was expecting. Reality was always cruel. It wasn't like 2D, and this girl wasn't normal either. She was a stalker. How long was she going to keep standing there anyway? Now that she'd seen me home, shouldn't she be going? Then I realized, was she waiting to get me alone so she could do something horrible to me? I need to see. I want to see the light leave your eyes, you fucking pig. The only light in this room was the desk light next to the computer. I tried to tell her that, but I couldn't. I hope you're good on your feet, sis, 'cause you're gonna trip and bash your head into all kinds of shit. She carefully dodged around the garbage on the floor as she walked over to the computer desk and turned on the light. The room was finally freed from the darkness. When it was dark, the fact that I couldn't see made me imagine all kinds of different delusions, but being able to see her wasn't much better. I felt twice as embarrassed as before. Because now I could see her looking around going, ugh, ugh, ugh. Ah, no? Her sudden gasp startled me. I looked and saw she was looking at the figure of Seita-tan next to my computer monitor. Hey, look at that. You found a buddy who probably does the same creepy shit as you. Whoa, fun. But she's my waifu, not yours. You can't have her. A 3D girl liking 2D is gonna make this little fucking shithead's brain explode. There was a note of happiness in her voice. She seemed like she was telling the truth. That was surprising. Was you a Fujoshi? You know about anime? Are you a Fujoshi? She was just an anime fan, I guess. Figures? Is this what you call figures? My God. Why are all of these so weird? Why are the figures the only thing in the whole place that are clean? You know he'd be scrubbing those. I didn't mind it when somebody complimented my wife. Guess I could. Yes, that's what what I think about Taku is that what a wife guy he is. She picked up Seita and began to examine her. It's the rare drop of figures. Oh my god, she ain't never heard nothing. It's fucking blowing her mind right now. Yeah, it's not sexy. I got this one because I could see her tits. That's the face of somebody who's like, I really need to get the hell out of this shipping container. This guy is not right to be around. There you go, brother. Keep digging that hole. This guy. Texture, huh? Texture of what? Exactly. Hey, you know what? If you get somebody to match your freak, great. This guy? Mm-mm. Suddenly, I gasped. I realized that I talked way too much. Oh dear, I've said too much. And about anime figures, too. I also had the feeling I'd said all kinds of really embarrassing things about taking off clothes or sexy poses, too. I wanted to see what the expression on her face was, but I didn't have the courage. She was probably looking at me like I was a piece of human garbage. Now, she's probably not, because this game wrote her to have no sense. I'm gonna look at you that way. My heart was pounding fast as I tried to look away. When she said my name, I turned to face her before I'd realized what I'd done. The look of disgust and contempt I expected, it wasn't there. I don't want to see the swimsuit version. I feel like you're creepy with that one. I didn't know how to react. She was smiling and looking like she was having a great time. As she stared at the shelf of figures, her eyes were smiling brightly. I couldn't believe that a 3D girl could look at these and not be freaked out. Was the world a bigger place than I thought it was? This is quite the science adventure I'm on. Pre-order. This guy's trying to sell her on pre-orders. Pre-order culture is a problem. Don't get her in that shit. Episode 12, that's the last episode. Oh, she ski desu it. I'm watching that shit on YouTube clips in 3 parts, 240p. That's how you watched anime in 2009. God level creator. Oh my god. I just watch the stuff I like. Crazy. That's not always the case. She was still smiling at me with her pretty smile. Yeah, now she's not a stalker because she likes the same fucking weird shit I'm into. Hell yeah. A girl smiling at me. I thought that only happened in H games. But now it was happening to me. But whenever 3D girls, especially my little sister, were smiling at me, it's because they were making fun of me. She was up to something, I knew it. I couldn't forget Seira-tan's words. Don't believe anybody. Don't listen to anything anyone says. Can I spend the night with you? Oh, that DVD's not on sale till August. That's crazy. That's so far away. She started to fidget a little, like she was looking down at the ground and avoiding looking me in the eye. I guarantee you in the anime she's doing a little fucking hand thing, the little shoulders, but her like hands are like down low, like at her fucking skirt. I guarantee you. If this scene is in the anime, that's how it looks. Why do you want to know this guy's name? I realized that she'd introduced herself, but I hadn't. Suddenly, I felt embarrassed. The words came out quiet and soft like a girl's. Oh, I guess that makes you his senpai. Was she going to ask me to give her a Seira-tan figure? Well, she couldn't have it. Nobody could come between me and my wife. I was gonna part with Seira-tan no matter who asked. No matter... I gotta see what that was, because I think I might have just done something that I probably shouldn't have. Because I think if you press a certain button in those, that activates like a delusion, or it's like a choice system. Would that be under help? Yeah. Yeah, delusion trigger. Well, good. Anything that gets this guy to the death flag. You can't have my wife! That's mine! Kya. As I stood there, mentally cursing her for daring to try and take my Seira-tan, Yua suddenly fell backwards and landed on her butt. She was rubbing her behind, looking a little teary-eyed. Thought he pushed her. You can't have my wife! I just wanted her to go home. Like, what was that request she'd asked about a moment ago anyway? Yua started to pick up the trash and CDs around her feet, even though I just told her not to. She looked so apologetic that I started to feel like I was the bad guy. Me, of all people. That's crazy. She seemed like a mom. Ugh, only moms clean up. Cleaning things up. Someone who didn't care about what other people thought and just ran around doing whatever they wanted. Nosy and annoying, like moms. In a situation like this, was I supposed to be helping her clean up my room? And then, as we both reached for the same piece of garbage, me, our hands would touch and we would gasp and gaze into each other's eyes. Wait, this wasn't a romantic comedy. No way was I going to help. In the middle of carefully piling up a bunch of magazines, her hand suddenly froze. She was turned away from me, and I couldn't see what she was holding. Oh, she got something dirty for sure. She found the fucking spank sock. She seemed really shaken. This was suspicious. I realized that she was in position to see everything in my room. She might want to steal something. She might even think that there were so many figures I wouldn't notice if she took one. But I would. I knew all of my wives really well. If one disappeared, I'd notice immediately. I hate this dude. A blood-tuned dojinshi. Oh, that was a naughty one. It's so naughty. She quickly got back to work, and then when she'd secured enough room to sit, she turned toward me. I gulped as my body tensed up. Wow. Hey, a guy fell in the middle of the street. I helped him home, realized he was a freaking weirdo. I was like, do you want to help me, like, reserve figures? Ay. This was dangerous. I needed to be really careful about how I responded. Sure, she and I had the same hobbies. She said she liked Seido too, and she listened to the things I said like she actually cared. For an otaku like me, she was an easy person to talk to, which was immediately suspicious. But this was a trap. It had to be. This kind of stuff only happened in H games, not in the real world. I couldn't let the 3D world fool me. Think, what was Yua after? My body, my soul. She bowed to me. Oh no. Most 3D girls were really bossy and arrogant. She was a rare exception. He was just looking for someone subservient. I fucking hate this guy. No 3D girl could possibly be this cute and kind. It was all an act. I was gonna say no. I was gonna come out and say it clearly, like a man. She looked up at me, and I could see her eyes were damp. Was she crying because I didn't say anything? Had I made her cry? Please, anything but that. I'd only ever experienced anything like this in video games. My heart was pounding really fast. I even felt guilty. I'd always heard people say that girls use tears as a weapon, but only now did I realize that it was true. To be honest, I didn't know what to do. I just stood there, half stammering. I tried to say I'd go with her, but I couldn't. What if I said yes? And then the next thing she said was, "Don't take me seriously, idiot. You're creepy." I was so scared of the idea that I was struck silent. Her eyes were even wetter now. It felt like tears could start pouring from her eyes any second. I nodded, helplessly. It was the only way I could think of to get her to stop crying. The whole thing felt like a setup, but she let out a sigh of relief and then took off her glasses to wipe away her tears. She said thanks. I'd managed to keep her from crying. I got lucky, I guess. Oh. Why is that? I don't want that on. Why is the skip button selected? Did I press a... Fuck. I hit the skip button. That's okay. I don't like this guy anyway. Fine. I reluctantly agreed. Yua looked happy. With what? Who knows? But she couldn't fool me, okay? Oh my god, in this convoluted way, of getting them to just say, hey, do you want to get figures together? I nodded, hoping I could get her to leave. She's spending the night now, bud. I was going somewhere with a girl. This wasn't a dream or a delusion, was it? I tried pinching myself. It hurt. Yeah. I sat on the sofa and watched her go. Just before she left, she turned and waved at me. Goodbye. She did say that. Good call. I felt a grin coming on, but forced myself to stop. I hate this guy. "17 years old forever." I really, really, really don't like this guy. No girl could be better than Seita-tan. I picked up the figure and rubbed it against my cheeks. Seita-tan looked happy.